Hi, I'm Dani Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of Penn Voice. I am joined today by Beth Mostovoy and Jodi Paley, both who are involved with Art on the Square in downtown Redwood City. Hi, Beth, and hi, Jodi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Dani.
So we're going to jump right into Art on the Square in Redwood City. And why don't I start with you, Beth? Just tell us a little bit about what Art on the Square is and how people can find it.
Okay, so Art on the Square was a dream of mine years ago when I was trying to bring more art into Redwood City, because that's when all the reconstruction was going on. So when they finally built the square and they were bragging about having, oh, we're going to have music and concerts, I said, well, why don't you have any art? And they just said to me, well, why don't you put it together? Okay, I will. And me and Julie Goodenough went before the Cultural Commission and got a grant to get it started, and that was 11 years ago. So Art on the Square has been happening 11 years. Every summer, we've done 4 shows on Friday nights with the music on the square, and we're expanding it now and getting out a little more. But it's kind of has a life of its own. We get one block. We have like 15 to 30 artists every show, and we give out gift certificates for people to come shop, and it's kind of become a part of the summer landscape.
Right, and Jodi, you're one of the artists.
I started out as an artist, and then 2 years ago, Beth and Julie came to me and said, come join us. So,
well, let's put you to work.
So, yes, yeah, let's keep you busy. Yes, and so that's where I came from.
So how do you find the artisans that are wanting to display and sell their goods on an Art on the Square event, and how are they chosen?
Well, in part, now that we've been established for 11 years, people know about us. So I was doing the shows on the street, like Mountain View and all the art
food and wine festivals,
ones. And so then I would say, hey, I'm doing these shows, and people would come. And now Jodi and I, like on the bigger shows, we sometimes go and take a walk around and recruit people. But artists tell their friends too, and like it's kind of nice when you walk into a booth and say, hey, we run this show Art on the Square. Like, oh, I've heard of that. Or my friend does it, or some of the artists have recruited other artists to come and join us.
Or they hear of like, wow, there's so much going on with art in Redwood City.
Redwood City, they
love
Redwood City.
And so it's just really kind of all grown up together. And like Beth says, you know, it's like the old shampoo commercial. You tell a friend, they tell 2 friends, they tell, and it's expanded out. We do a little bit of outreach as well, you know, in terms of postings of searching for artists, but yeah, otherwise, it's mostly word of mouth when we get the feedback.
And I think what's so unique is the space that you're in. You're in that outdoor, historic courtyard space for the county courthouse. And the backdrop and all of the historic sites that surround you for where your artisans are all displayed and their work is displayed. I think there couldn't be anything more unique than that, because people can do so much more than just shop in the middle of a street at an art and wine festival, correct?
Yes, and it's also that we're on Friday nights, and most of the art and wine shows are Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So it's a little short show, and people just love it. And the artists always say to me, well, maybe I didn't sell very much tonight, but boy, everybody is so nice here. It's such a great crowd. We always have fun in Redwood City. So it's like it kind of sells Redwood City and the show all together.
Right.
And then we've expanded, as Beth said, from just doing the summer shows. We do a holiday show that is inside the History Museum. And we had our first one last year. People were coming and saying, you know, I always drove past this, but I'd never been inside. It's a gorgeous building. We were able to wander around, look at the exhibits, shop.
And that's at the museum.
Whole bit. And that's
the History Museum.
Inside the History Museum.
It was a great place to have a show. And we're going to do that again this year. Now I think it's going to be one of our usual shows.
Great. And I think our viewers can sort of see some of the artwork, the photos, Beth, that you brought, and Jodi, some of the scarves, and I am wearing one of your originals. So just give us a quick overview of kind of some of the techniques that you use, Beth, and Jodi, you do as well.
There's not really a technique per se.
Well, this one is.
Well,
in the sense
that's new this year. Well, last year I tried. I was thinking about going into doing some metal prints because I've seen other artists and it was kind of a hot thing, and I was like, well, I don't know. I had to think about it, and some of my pictures just really lend themselves to that. And so this year I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm jumping in, and I got 4 huge prints. That's 20 by 30, and this is a Filoli, obviously. And I just had a show last weekend for Art on the Square, and people were just I mean, everybody that walked by, it was a showstopper for
Right.
them. And they all obviously recognize it for what it is. And it just is kind of an expansion of, you know, I've gone through film, and now there's digital, and now there's metal. There's just a lot of different ways you can put your photographs out there. And I mean, I see everything as a photograph. And
Right.
my, you know, subject matter is, you know, from a door. I have lots of doorways to, and that's in Italy. And I have, this is in Arles, France, in Provence. And it's tablecloths, and to me, it just screams Provence. And I have cards in all kinds of different collections of cards, from Redwood City to peacocks to Napa Valley to beaches and lighthouses. So
I think what I love most about your photographs is I visited many of the places that you have photographed, but mine didn't turn out that way. So it's a lovely way to remember my trip, but with a much better photograph and interesting way to show
it, yes.
Provence than the way I showed it. So thank you for that.
Well,
I
even her
loved it.
shots around Redwood City. My husband went out and bought me a card one day. Didn't realize it was one of Beth's photos.
One of Beth's cards.
yeah, that's
And,
really
and
funny.
Jodi, you have some unique techniques as well with your scarves.
Yes, well, I started out weaving many years ago, so like the one that's hanging above the Filoli picture, just a traditional weave, 2 colors. Went into mixing colors as this one here. And then in the last number of years, I've started dyeing my own yarns. And starting with white thread, like what we have on the table here, and then I will dye it, and so I end up with that color transition that you'll see in that one on the chair. And then I also, at the same time, started doing felted scarves. So this, I start with white chiffon. I paint the background first. Then I lay down both silk and wool fibers, and I felt them in together. So I call that, is really painting with fiber. You know, and so I end up with this beautiful abstract colors. Each one's going to be unique. Even if I tried to, you know, replicate the colors that I use, they're all going to be one of a kind, same as on the painted. And that's what I really love, that idea that they're going to pop. You know,
So we kind of touched on this a little bit without asking the question, but can people come to you and say, I'd like a photograph of this place, of this size, these color, and same thing with Jodi, I'd love a scarf in these color palettes, these color tones. Can you do some original
I can do
custom pieces?
I can do custom orders. I mean, you know, people have asked for certain places. Somebody really, I'd taken a picture of the satellite dish at Stanford for somebody. I've taken a picture of the Menlo train station for somebody. I mean, if somebody comes, or they'll say, do you have a picture of? And often I do, and sometimes I say, well, no, but I can go take one for you.
Right.
But I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and with mine, it's depending on how they want it. If they want specific colors, then I could go back to a traditional weaves, you know, like this, and exactly make something with a pattern. And I have done those. I've done a lot of custom work of prayer shawls for kids who are becoming a bar bat mitzvah and other things like that, wedding canopies,
Interesting.
and things like that. But like I say, with the organic nature of the painted, whether it's painting on the tencels and bamboos or on the felted scarves, I can get you the color palette. But to try to get something specific, because the way when things paint, the colors will wick together and down.
Nature is nature.
Yeah, and that's just it.
And quickly, I want to mention, you're both wearing very different jewelry pieces, and the same thing goes with your jewelers on Art on the Square. They are all very different, unique, and original pieces, and most of your jewelers are all very different in the styles.
Yes, we try to do that, and we actually, we had so many people early on that were applying for jewelry. I just went around to the jewelers a couple shows. I said, so if I just had a show that was all jewelry, would that be okay? And they all said, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So that's how Jewelry on the Square came to be, and it's only jewelers. I mean, this is a jewelry piece from one of our jewelers.
And you know,
then
we
this
are
is as
already
well.
out of time. So what I want to do is point our viewers to the website after this program. It'll show the dates and the website, Facebook page of where to go to find who will be displaying work, how to buy it, and when your events are.
Great.
And then also let the community know that you sometimes partner with community organizations, as you did with Kainos Home and Training Center.
Yes.
In your last art exhibit. So you're, if you're a community organization, to give you a buzz and contact you.
Yes, because we have a nonprofit opportunity for booth space as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Beth and Jodi. I'm sorry we're out of time, but we'll have to have you come back and tell us all about the summer series for
Great. Thank
Art
you so
on the
much.
Square. Thanks so much, and we'll be joining you next time on Penn Voice.